Now at 9, Lamar, Missouri police release the name of a victim in a death investigation.
Republicans are looking to retake control of Congress, but Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell sees some trouble ahead for his party. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with more on the challenges that Republicans and Democrats are facing as the campaign trail heats up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. A woman is rushed to the hospital after a stabbing at Joplin's Ewart Park overnight. JPD is on the lookout for a suspect who stabbed a woman several times. Police say the female victim was suffering from multiple stab wounds but was still conscious when she was taken to the hospital. If you have any information, you are being asked by police to contact them. Law enforcement across 4 states are on the hunt for Nguyen, a McDonald County woman accused of shooting her husband while he was sleeping. Authorities found Harold Nguyen shot to death in the couple's fifth-wheel camper west of Anderson, Missouri in November of last year. Dawn was arrested and charged that day. She's been out on bond awaiting trial. According to the McDonald County Sheriff, part of Nguyen's bail conditions required her to stay at her mother's home in Pea Ridge, Arkansas. Now Nguyen is missing and her bond is revoked. Investigators say she might be headed to northeast Oklahoma, but she has ties in southwest Missouri, also Joplin in particular. Lamar, Missouri police released more details of a death investigation. Authorities say the victim has been identified as 35-year-old Beatrice Adriana Moreno Martinez of Thousand Palms, California. Officials responded to a home on the 1100 block of Allen Street just before 3 a.m., and that's where they found the victim and rushed her to the hospital where she later died. An autopsy is scheduled for today in Springfield. Results are in for the Crawford County recount on the constitutional amendment question on abortion. On August 2nd, the state of Kansas voted to reject a ballot measure that would have removed protections for abortion rights from the Kansas Constitution. Crawford County did the recount by request. Now, the results came out to 4,653 votes for yes, 5,847 votes for no. The number of no votes increased by 2 in the recount. The number of yes votes, however, did not change.
In a couple of the instances, the bubble for the yes and no, we'll say the yes bubble was marked and then erased by the voter and then filled in darker on the no. So it was clear that the voter's intent was to vote no.
Results from other recounts across the state are not in yet. Well, for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic started, McDonald County, Missouri schools has a curriculum director. KOAM's
As the new school year approaches,
make sure teaching materials are up to date.
As the new school year approaches, the new curriculum director of McDonald County School is taking steps to make sure that all curriculums across the county is up to date. I spoke to her and she tells me why events like this are important.
McDonald County School's new curriculum director is at work, hosting meetings to make sure teachers are ready for the first day of school.
It's important to us to make sure that our curriculum in one building is the same as another building, and so it's allowing us to use this time to just not necessarily make changes, but to make sure that everybody's familiar, acclimate new teachers, talk about resources that we use, and just put everybody kind of on the same page and ready to go as we open up the school year.
McLean also says this will better equip teachers at each school.
You know, teachers that are prepared and teachers that feel well equipped going into the classroom affects student learning and student outcomes, and so curriculum is important for not just our teachers, it's important for our students and for our district, and I think this will help speed that process along.
One elementary school teacher tells me it is great that the district is making sure they are prepared.
And we know the district has our back, and we know the district has the best interests of the students and their teachers in mind, because they are giving us the curriculum that we have asked for and the time to go through it, and they're constantly, what do you need here, what do you need there, what do you need from us as the district to better your teaching in the classroom.
In McDonald County, Shagun Bamdele, KOAM News.
McDonald County students return to the classroom on Monday. It's a new era for students in Iola, Kansas. The new elementary school in Iola was unveiled today at Open House. The Iola School District is home to 3 elementary schools, so officials there wanted to turn them into one larger new school.
We want to have a lot of community spirit here and school spirit, so we're going to do a lot of things with like the middle school and the high school, and have them coming down, you know, the football team come down to talk to them, the cheerleaders, you name it. We want to get those kids excited for the next level when they go to middle school and high school.
The new school expects to hold around 681 students. Today is the Pittsburgh State University Marching Band's last day of practice for their week-long Pride of the Plains Marching Band Camp. While students are excited for the new semester, this year's band camp was bittersweet for many. KOM's Yana Hatala explains why.
Students gathered on the field behind Pittsburgh State University's football stadium for the last marching rehearsal of band camp. The week was a success, according to a fifth-year senior, Erica Baldwin.
Everyone's just excited to be out here, and they're excited for finally a first normal year since COVID has happened.
Earlier this summer, the band lost its director, Doug Nguyen, to a heart attack. Now, his students march on with a familiar interim director conducting.
I've always been at rehearsals, and I've been at games, and I've kind of like been part of that group.
The marching band members are happy to have an experienced leader who has been observing their practices before stepping in the role.
He knows who we are, he knows what our culture is, and it's nice to have someone who's on campus and cares about us.
Andrew Chaibovsky says Doug made everyone feel like they are part of the family, which is what he wants to continue and has worked on this week.
Some team building stuff. I think that's just as important to kind of come together as a team. So we've got a lot of fun activities that we've been doing, and we're going to continue that throughout the season.
Once live performances start, the remembrance will continue.
There's definitely a huge hole in the band, and this first game is going to be really hard. Emotionally, it's going to be really hard for the band, but we're going to be okay. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great season anyway, and a lot of people are really excited for this season.
In Pittsburgh, Yana Hatala, KOAM News.
The marching band wishes to see everyone at their first appearance of the fall semester at Pitt State's home football game on Thursday, September 1st. Well, the midterm election is still a couple months away, but new Fox polling is giving us a better look at how some crucial races could turn out. GOP is looking to flip both chambers of Congress. Democrats, on the other hand, are hoping recent legislation passed this year is going to help win undecided voters. Fox's Madeline Rivera has these details from D.C.
I want you to get out. Tell your friends to get out and vote.
The countdown is on for the 2022 midterm elections.
The future is ours, and we are going to reclaim it this November.
Republicans are looking to retake the Senate, but they're defending more than 20 seats. And the GOP is facing challenges in several states. In Wisconsin, a recent Fox News poll shows Democratic challenger Mandela Barnes leading incumbent Senator Ron Johnson. In Arizona, incumbent Senator Mark Kelly holds an 8-point advantage over his Republican opponent, Blake Masters. And in Pennsylvania, Senate candidate Dr. Mehmet Oz is going viral for this video posted back in April, showing the impact of inflation.
Guys, that's $20 for crudité, and this doesn't include the tequila.
His opponent, Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, mocked the video, saying it paints Oz as out of touch with voters. It helped Fetterman's campaign raise more than $500,000.
There's probably a greater likelihood the House flips than the Senate. Candidate quality has a lot to do with the outcome.
But Democrats are facing mounting challenges in their efforts to keep their House majority. Republicans are looking to rally voters on issues like inflation and crime.
If Republicans stay on talking about the things that are impacting people's daily lives, people vote about their community, they vote about their family. I think that enthusiasm is more beneficial to the Republicans right now than the Democrats.
Despite President Biden's low approval ratings, Democrats are going on offense, launching a 7-figure ad campaign touting the president's recent legislative successes. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOM News at 9, and Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Michael Blevins has served in Iraq, and we are proud to thank Anselus Specialist Michael Blevins, native of Mapleton, Kansas. He's tonight's four-state hero. Sam Lane is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later the Baxter Springs Lions aim to rebound from a winless season. Gonna hear from the Lions in sports.
Well, friends, it was another warm one across the 4 states with temperatures reaching into the 90s in many locations, but it wasn't all that bad. We did have some clouds roll in later in the afternoon and even some rain showing up on radar, and that's always good news this time of year, especially with the kind of dry conditions we've had lately. It's a pretty pleasant evening down in Seneca, Missouri this evening at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Just a few clouds floating by, and that's about it. If you're heading out to Pineville for the Jesse James days, this is a look at the forecast. Tonight we're expecting scattered showers mainly up to the north, and by morning we'll drop down to around 68 degrees there in Pineville. Then in the afternoon, around lunchtime, we'll be in the lower 80s. An afternoon high of around 87 degrees with a chance of a thunderstorm or two in the Pineville area tomorrow afternoon with southerly winds. Then as we go through the evening hours, temperatures start to drop off just a little bit, and also the rain starts to move away. Notice the winds turning around to the east at around 68 degrees. Then on Sunday afternoon, a pretty pleasant day with northerly winds and a high of around 84 degrees. All right, let's take a look and show you what's going on elsewhere down in the tropics, as we have Tropical Storm Danielle expected to form later on tonight into the southwestern part of the Gulf of Mexico, around 40-mile-an-hour winds. Then it's expected to track to the north-northwest and probably come ashore around 8 o'clock in the evening tomorrow night in northern Mexico, spreading quite a bit of rain and heaviness across South Texas. And they certainly need the rainfall as well, as most of the state of Texas is a severe drought. And it looks like Danielle is going to help out with that. As the moisture comes north, quite a bit of rain is going to fall across northern Texas. And like I said, they desperately need the rainfall. Speaking of rainfall, here in our area, we do have some on radar stretching from just north of Howard over to Yates Center to Iola and up to the north and east over in eastern Bates County, moving out of Bates County over into western St. Clair County. And that's a pretty heavy storm there just west of Osceola. But like I said, I don't think anyone's going to complain about the rainfall. Temperatures right now are in the upper 70s to lower 80s across our area. 79 for our friends over in Carthage, 82 in Parsons, and 84 where it's getting ready to rain right now in Chanute. Let's take a look at the dew points. The dew points have been in the mid-50s to mid-60s across our area, and those are going to start coming down as we head towards the weekend, making it feel a little bit more comfortable. Right now, it's not too bad, almost on the sticky stage. All right, let's take a look at the temperature right now in Joplin. It's 79, 81 degrees is what it feels like because the dew point is 63 with a south-southwest wind at 8. Your future cast looks like this. There is a boundary up to the north that's going to drop through our area but kind of fall apart tonight with lows in the 60s. Then tomorrow, a stronger front moving in from the north and west. Temperatures a little bit cooler behind it, and of course showers and thunderstorms possible ahead of it, but not everybody is going to get rain. So don't get your hopes up too much, but some folks will get some thunderstorms, especially in the southern sections. And by Sunday morning, we'll see lows in the 60s. Then in the afternoon, northerly winds, drier conditions, and pleasant temperatures with a high of around 86 or 85 here in Joplin. Then on Monday morning, we'll see lows in the lower 60s up to the north and mid-60s as we head through Joplin. There is a marginal risk of severe weather tomorrow, so of course we'll keep an eye on that very closely, with the biggest threat being heavy rainfall. Your 7-day forecast looks like this. We're looking at 85 on Sunday, 88 on Monday, 90 on Tuesday, and then another slight chance of storms on Thursday with a high of 92. And that warm weather continues right into the forecast. Jordan?
All right, Sam, thanks so much. Coming up, the Justice Department's... All right, Sam, thanks so much. Coming up, the Justice Department's next move.
With pressure mounting to release the affidavit that was used to search the home of the former president, the Justice Department now has less than 1 week to propose their redactions. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. I'll have the latest on the probe coming up.
Listen closely here. Apple announcing serious security issues with a variety of its products. The company said its iPhone, iPad, and Mac products are prone to severe vulnerabilities, which could possibly allow someone to take complete control over the devices. Apple said those hackers will be able to act as the device's owner and run any software in their name. Security experts are warning users to update affected devices, which are iPhone models 6S and older, iPad models 5th generation and later, all iPad Pro models and iPad Air 2, as well as Mac computers running Mac OS Monterey. It also affects some iPod models. Well, this time next week, we should have more information on why the FBI took the drastic step of raiding the home of former President Trump. The Justice Department has been instructed by the judge in the case to make redactions before he decides what to release. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard reports.
Line by line, the Justice Department is likely going over the affidavit which prompted a judge in Florida to allow a raid at former President Trump's resort home. They have until Thursday to submit redactions.
There are a lot of things in an affidavit that they can reveal without actually having to give any substantive information. What people really want to know, I think, is what was the probable cause?
The Justice Department has already warned they're likely to black out so much the public will learn very little from what's left. Former President Trump says he wants the full document released.
I would expect it will get a lot of black ink all over that piece of paper.
Judge Bruce Reinhart will have the final say. However, it still may take weeks or months for the public to get their hands on it. The motion to unseal the affidavit was brought by major news companies who argue it's in the public's interest to know what prompted such an unprecedented move.
It is up to the public to determine what is meaningful in this investigation.
The already unsealed search warrant showed agents were looking for violations of 3 federal laws, including the Espionage Act and obstruction of justice laws. Team Trump claims the raid was politically motivated.
I think full transparency is what's really called for in this very extraordinary situation.
Lawyers from the Justice Department can appeal whatever Judge Reinhart decides. It could keep the documents sealed a little longer. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
And still ahead, a reminder about how things in nature are connected.
3, 2, 1. Spraying to get rid of pesky mosquitoes could be good for you, but not for Mother Nature. I'm Christina Coleman in Los Angeles. I've got the details coming up.
First here in the entertainment industry, streaming services drew in more viewers in July than cable television. According to ratings company Nielsen, streaming captured 34.8% of total TV viewing in the U.S. in July. Cable TV, however, represented 34.4% of viewer watching. Broadcast TV dropped to 21.6%. Nielsen says some platforms like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime Video attracted their highest shares of viewing, beating records set in June. Primary care doctors should be regularly screening patients for depression. That's the finding of a new study by UC San Francisco. It found depression goes unrecognized in more than half of primary care patients. Researchers say screening could help catch symptoms, especially among groups that often go untreated, like minority groups, older adults, and people who speak limited English. An increase in the pesky mosquito season has led to a surge in extermination efforts, and experts say it's having a big impact in Mother Nature. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman has these details.
Climate change is lengthening the mosquito season, prompting more and more Americans to hire professionals to help avoid the itch. But the increase in chemicals sprayed around the yard could be having a deadly impact on our ecosystem.
If you're using a toxic chemical that's toxic to certain types of species like insects, you might expect to see some collateral damage.
Scientists worry overuse of the pesticide sprayed to prevent the pesky insects is killing already diminishing pollinators like bees and butterflies and worsening a growing threat to birds and insects that eat mosquitoes.
We need our pollinators, right? They're incredibly important. But at the same time, we need to eliminate mosquitoes that vector diseases.
The backyard bloodsuckers carry serious diseases, including Zika and West Nile. The CDC reported a dramatic uptick in mosquito-related illnesses in 2020.
It is really a serious concern, and that can vary by region, time of year, weather conditions, things like that.
Experts say Americans can blame climate change for the boost in the buzzing bugs, the increasing warm weather adding a month to the beginning and end of the mosquito season in some parts of the country. If you're looking for solutions that don't involve chemicals, experts say remove any standing water and use a fan to keep mosquitoes away. In Los Angeles, Christina Coleman, Fox News.
One other note here, the chemicals are safe for humans when used as directed. That's according to the government. People in Washington State on the lookout for something that would be the first here in the U.S. More on the Atlas moth next. Washington State gets a big and unwelcome insect visitor. Take a look at that. Residents are on the lookout for it. Washington State agriculture officials say the Atlas moth, one of the world's largest moths, has been spotted. Could be a first here in the U.S. Officials say it's a federally quarantined pest, but it's not a health threat. The moth was first reported in July. Locals are asked to take pictures, as we're seeing right there, note the location of the big guy, then report to Washington State's regulatory official or state plant health director. That's big. Yeah, that's big. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Going to find out how one young man in Webb City, Missouri, got the gig of Wendy's Chicken Nugget Taster. Officially, of course. Plus, near Branson, Missouri, look at an expanded amphitheater holding up to 50,000 people. Another story that proves dreams really do come true. A Webb City fast food restaurant helps turn one Little League player's dream into reality. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
During a Little League World Series game, Brody Jackson caught a local restaurant's attention by saying he wanted to become a chicken nugget tester.
We heard it kind of got passed down from Wendy's. They said, hey, this kid said he wanted to be a chicken nugget taster. Let's do something with it. And it's just kind of, over the past few days, has been something that we have, has gotten traction, and we've gotten together with the team and gotten together to come in tonight for dinner.
Brody is Wendy's first chicken nugget tester.
Not to my knowledge, no, but this is going to be a first. It's going to be a unique situation. And
ESPN tweeted about Brody's dream job.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Seeing that they reposted it and seeing all the attention that it's getting.
Wendy's awarded Brody with free chicken nuggets for a year.
It feels really good. I'll get chicken nuggets a lot this year.
The chicken nuggets made him smile, but Brody enjoyed his season with his teammates more.
Overall, we did a pretty good job at regionals, and really proud of how we did it.
Reporting in Webb City, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Brody, you made us so proud with baseball. I know you're going to do us good with the chicken nuggets too. Congratulations, little man. By the way, Webb City Little League team finished runner-up in the regional tournament. We're proud of them. Cherokee Nation has a rich history, but sadly, some pieces of it may be lost. So to remember more of that history, Chitopa, Kansas has hosted a Nap-In every year for the last 3 years. Napping is the art form of shaping a piece of stone by hitting it and making stone tools or weapons or even building walls. At the Neosho River Nap-In, people get the chance to make arrowheads.
We would normally use knives or different types of cutlery for. It originated in Europe earlier, back before Christ would be the best way to, rather than to put a definite number on it. It's just pre-Christ.
If you're interested in learning napping, you can have a chance to stop by. The event lasts into the 21st until 6 p.m. All right, Bass Pro's newly expanded Thunder Ridge Amphitheater is set to reopen in September, holding up to 50,000 people for events like major concerts and bull riding. Liam Garrity gives us a tour of the facility south of Branson, Missouri.
They're literally moving mountains.
Moving piles of land all at once. For now, the only movement is the ground and the wind. But the community won't have to wait long.
It's a massive facility, and the great thing about it is it's a multi-use facility. So we'll have lots of special events that we can announce in the future.
Jeff Wilhoit with Big Cedar Lodge Marketing says all this land will be turned into the reimagined Thunder Ridge Nature Arena, packed with luxury suites, general seating, lawn areas, and 15,000 hidden parking spaces. But people who live nearby have different stances on the new venue.
Johnny Morris has done a lot to help the area because he's really improved a lot of the area around here, a lot of the roads, as far as the entertainment.
I just can't believe it's going to be 50,000 people, we can't handle that many people.
From views to the mountains to the lake, this original 10,000 seat amphitheater will turn into a 50,000 seat amphitheater in just 39 days. Wilhoit says they are working with state and local officials and a traffic pattern company to help with traffic, but people in the area may have to get used to more cars.
It's going to mess up the roads, it's going to mess up our yards, there's going to be too much traffic.
Johnny Morris would have the foresight to see that he would probably improve some of the roads to handle the traffic. That wouldn't be a problem.
Wilhoit says the views from the new area will be hard to beat as builders took inspiration from Table Rock Lake and structures across the country.
People are going to be blown away when they come here. I don't think there's anything like this facility in North America. It's going to get people in close contact with nature.
Reporting in Ridgedale, I'm Liam Garrity.
Country superstar Garth Brooks performs at Thunder Ridge October 1st. Tickets go on sale next Friday and are available only through Ticketmaster. bit later. A little bit of help from some parents who still need some last-minute school supplies.
Inflation is impacting parents as they get ready to shop for much-needed supplies for back to school. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer. I'll have the details on how you can try to save money on those back-to-school essentials coming up.
Well, folks, it was another warm day across the 4 states, but that's typical for August, of course. And we had some clouds roll in earlier this afternoon that helped keep things a little bit cooler. Right now, looking out at Skycam at the Indigo Sky Casino Resort down in Seneca, Missouri. Pretty pleasant evening down there, too. They had some clouds roll in, just like we did here in Joplin, so temperatures were not really all that bad this afternoon. In fact, they were quite normal. The only normal day we've had so far this month, most of them have been above normal. 2 weeks of above normal temperatures for our highs and only 4 days of below normal, and most of that was this week, so that was pretty pleasant change. We've needed some changes around here because of the drought. Look at this, lots of drought conditions extending still over the 4 states, extreme category. Everyone is still dry, but there has been some improvement, and that's because of the scattered showers and storms that we've had in our area. In fact, we have some scattered storms right now over in St. Clair County around Osceola, and also just west of Fort Scott, extending over to Iola, down towards Chanute, and then extending on over towards Fredonia at the current time. But there's more storms back to the north and west, and that's ahead of a cold front that's going to be affecting our area as we head into tomorrow. Temperatures right now are generally mild, upper 70s to right around 80 degrees, 82 in Parsons, 81 in Yates Center, a little bit cooler in Grove, where they're currently sitting at 73 degrees. The dew points are up too, especially ahead of that boundary, with 66 in Iola, 62 in Fort Scott, a little bit more comfortable down in Yosho with 59 degrees. So in your dew point tracker, we range anywhere from pleasant to not too bad, and to some areas, downright sticky. Temperatures right now in Joplin, we're sitting at 79 degrees. It feels like 81 because the dew point is 63 right now, giving us a humidity of 58%, and the pressure is currently falling. Your future track looks like this. We do have a weak boundary up to the north that's going to sink down tonight, but it's going to fall apart. And scattered showers and storms are going to be along that boundary with temperatures in the upper 60s around our area, including Joplin with 69, 66 over in Howard with scattered storms possible. Then tomorrow, another front makes its presence known and moves to the south and east with temperatures ahead of it close to 90, in fact 93 at Nowata, but cooler behind the front. But we also will have some scattered showers and storms, and that's pretty good news. Some areas could pick up quite a bit heavy rain, but most areas are going to remain dry, unfortunately, with this system. Then by Sunday morning, the front moves down to the south, and winds turn around to the north and east, and lows will be pretty much in the mid-60s across the area. Then on Sunday afternoon, pretty pleasant. Mostly fair skies across the area with highs only in the mid-80s, including Joplin with 86 and Greenfield with 84. Then as we go into Monday morning, we'll see the winds turn around more to the east and cool temperatures, mid-60s for overnight lows. The rainfall forecast, as I mentioned, not everybody is going to get rain, and those that do get rain, not a lot in the bucket with this particular storm system. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer before we get some good soaking rains. Any storms that develop tomorrow, there is a marginal risk of severe weather, but it's not a real high risk, so that's pretty good news. And the biggest threat would be from heavy rain from an isolated storm. Your 7-day forecast looks like this: 89 tomorrow, 30% chance of storms mainly to the south, and then Sunday, 85, and then as we go through the early part of next week, temperatures starting to rise into the 90s, and that continues right into next weekend.
Sam, thanks again, man. Coming up in sports, the Baxter Springs Lions return a talented group of skilled players for the upcoming football season. Plus, it's Jamboree night for Missouri high school football. Jacob Leonard joins us with highlights from Webb City and Carl Junction after this.
Well, tonight is Jamboree night for Missouri high school football. And we have a couple to get to this evening, starting at Webb City High School. And the Cardinals host Joplin, Lamar, and Seneca this evening. And we'll start with the first session of the night. It's Webb City versus Lamar. Cards with possession. They put it on the ground. Alex Wilkerson there for the recovery for the Tigers. And later, same possession, same side. Braden McKee floats it up to Dante Washington. Nice grab there for the Webb City touchdown. The other end, It's Joplin facing Lamar. Check out this run from Joplin's Drew Van Gilder. To the far side, breaking tackles, tiptoes down the sideline, eventually in for the Joplin touchdown. So now we go to session 2. Lamar and Joplin, Joel Beshore dropping back for Lamar, looking, finds Logan Kish in the end zone. Touchdown Lamar. The other side, it's Webb City and Seneca, Landon Johnson to Cole Cavett. Cavett only needs one hand there. He gets into the end zone. Anyways, good night for everybody. 1 week out from the start of the regular season.
I think we play in the best jamboree in the state for us, getting the chance to come play Webb City and Joplin, a Class 5 and Class 6 program. For us, we just can't impersonate that speed in practice, and for our kids to get to see that and have to run to the football and try our best to tackle, it was really good for us being able to have that scrimmage going into week 1.
Heading to Carl Junction now, the Bulldogs host a jamboree with Carthage, Nevada, and Monette. The Tigers on offense in the first session. Cooper Jadwin at quarterback finds the big target. Hudson Moore there in the end zone. The other side, Carl Junction quarterback Dexter Merrill looking downfield, but the 6'6" Drew Beechler steps in front of it, gets the interception. Later, though, Merrill hits Malachi Moore in stride for the touchdown. That play worked a few times tonight for the Bulldogs. The last pairing of the night, Avius Stedman takes the handoff, gets to the outside, going by everybody for the score. Lots more action from the night. You can find full highlights on the sports page at KOAMNewsNow.com. The Baxter Springs football team is wrapping up their first week of fall practice. Now, the Lions are aiming to get things headed in the right direction this fall after going 0-9 last season. Now, Baxter Springs had to play a lot of young guys last year, so they do return quite a few starters this fall. Now, the strength of the team moving into the season is no doubt the guys they have at the skill positions, and that includes a newcomer at quarterback in Peyton Gaines.
I'm really excited about Peyton. This is his first year back in football since, I think, middle school. He's looking really good back there, so I have full faith in him. I think he'll do great.
Leadership is the correct word. I think he's a great leader. I think he'll do a good job of rallying our players, and so we look to him to provide that for us.
Halfway through the summer, we found out he could play. We've been throwing with him, running plays through. Quarterback last year, Javen Alexander, he moved to wide receiver. He's great out there. So having him and a couple other guys for him to throw to, it'll be exciting.
Our skill guys are pretty good, and I think we're really about as good as anybody in the conference, to be honest with you. We're probably going to try to rely on that and try to get the ball in the hands of our skill guys.
And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
All right, so I know that for many kids, they've already started school. For others, Monday is the day. School shopping is out of the way, right? For the most part, just in case if you have, some other one or two things to pick up, there's this story. Inflation is taking a bite out of Americans' wallets, and with back to school around the corner for many, parents are trying to score deals and save money. Fox News correspondent Ashley Strohmeyer has some tips that are sure to save you some cash.
As a parent, you want to buy the 25-cent folder. You can't find them.
The National Retail Federation predicts families will spend an average of $864 on school supplies this year. And for college students, that expense is expected to be even higher. The NRF also says more than a third of people say they are cutting back in other areas so they can buy supplies for the school year. So how do you keep your costs down? Retail experts say some of the best tips include searching for coupons and skipping the name brands.
Staples, True Red, they have an amazing selection. So their True Red composition notebooks and their regular notebooks, 35 cents compared to over $3 for the name brand.
Also head online to score those deals.
You want to download the Target, Walmart apps because you're going to find that some of those offer exclusive in-app secret deals you will not find if you just walk in the store or you shop online.
Shoppers can also use price comparisons and discount apps.
There's one called Flip. Flip is free to use, and it will show you all of the sales circulars that are going on at all the stores near you.
Retailers' reward programs may also be a way to save money. Other money-saving experts say look at any items you may have that are left over from last year. You can also shop for refurbished and like-new items. And if you're looking to save money on clothes, you may want to think about waiting until after Labor Day if you can. That's when some retailers will offer discounts. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
Coming up, going to check out the new romantic comedy, Spin Me Round. Alison Brie co-wrote and stars in a new film which goes from romantic comedy to thriller when she takes a trip to Italy that doesn't go as planned. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin with more.
Ciao. Alison Brie's dream vacation to Italy turns into a nightmare in the romantic comedy Spin Me Round.
It takes a lot of unexpected turns that nobody could foresee.
She plays Amber, a manager of a small-town chain restaurant who wins an all-expenses-paid trip to Tuscany, where she meets and falls in love with the company's CEO, but she discovers he's hiding some dark secrets.
When she goes on this trip, she's really excited at the prospect of something happening to her. And as things don't go as she expects, she's sort of forced to take control over her own destiny.
Brie, who co-wrote the film, says her on-screen love interest, played by Alessandra Nivola, was inspired by the different types of men she's met in her personal life.
It's so on the nose in terms of experiences that I had with men in my 20s, and some of them, you know, really lifted from my life and kind of put into the movie early on in the film, not later on in the film. Amber is a little naive still, you know, even though she's not in her 20s, obviously, as I'm playing her, but it's that same vibe of sort of being excited about the idea of love and taking a little too long to catch on to the red flags.
Her Italian getaway may not have gone as planned on screen, but the actor says it's the best trip she's taken with her husband.
We went to Ravello on the Amalfi Coast. We had just gotten engaged, and it was inherently very romantic because of that reason.
We need to be discreet. The romantic comedy is available now in theaters, on demand, and streaming on AMC+. In Hollywood, Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave tonight with video of a dog and human event on the Jersey Shore. Have a great, safe weekend. Feel free to do that with the hose this weekend. It's going to get hot. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.